Nice though. I told you my wife used to live out there. Or Unit 2, Lesson 2 is what we're doing today. You can look either underneath assignments for U2L2 or under on the home page, scroll through the table to today's date, which is the 6th. You'll see what we're working through. You are going to need a couple links from that, so make sure you have that open. Our goal today is to do a little sort of jigsaw lesson around infectious bacteria, right? You did a pretty dense reading about bacteria, and so today we're going to explore 3 pretty common ones. But before we do that, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here. So first of all was just homework review. The Ed puzzle went well. I just want to share my screen here really quick. We can actually look through the responses to this Ed puzzle. All about introduction to infectious disease. Again, about 10 of you got the first one right about leading causes of disease and death in the world are actually non-communicable. And that's because we've improved our treatment and prevention stuff. But prior exposure to the same disease does not contribute to making things worse. Our immune system, which we'll learn a lot about, is very good at remembering diseases and fighting back. Let's see, 20%. Oh yeah, so this is the fatality rate, case fatality rate and reproductive rate. We're gonna come back to reproductive rate in particular. It's referred to as R0, which is a kind of a big thing, especially when we start talking about COVID. Zoonotic diseases jump from animals, which is definitely increasing in agriculture, and something we'll touch on a little bit today. Most deadly animal vector, again, everyone, I think not everyone thinks about the mosquito being something that has killed a lot of humans. You then had to read Gladwin. It was a little dense, and I tried to get the questions to kind of help guide you to what was important. Any questions on that reading reflection quiz? Anything that you found difficult or wanted help on? And again, remember you have multiple attempts on those quizzes at all times. So, all right, seems like we're feeling good. Next thing was just to see how we're feeling about bacterial gram-positive and gram-negative. So I'm gonna have you work through a little quizzes, which is sort of like Kahoot, but it's more self-run. I'm gonna share my screen here again. And so you'll see on my screen here, you need to go to joinmyquiz.com. You can go on any device, your phone or your computer. Enter in that join code 812025. Please type in your name or something close to it so we know who everybody is. And I'll wait till we have a good number and then we'll get going. All right, that is everybody. So here we go. This will be self-run, but you will be able to see the leaderboard. Any questions or comments on the little quizzes? Okay, then I just want to really quickly look over the test, which hopefully you have all noticed has been graded. I spent the weekend catching up on grading, so if you click on that grades tab, it is pretty much up to date. And the first test went pretty well. Looking at statistics, these are from Canvas, I like that it kind of breaks down how everybody did. Multiple choice went well. This one, what happened if blood flow to an artery is blocked or greatly restricted? A lot of you went with heart attack, but that could be both stroke or heart attack depending on the location. Again, mostly feeling pretty good about these multiple choice questions. So everybody got the correct answer or close to it. I try to offer partial credit where possible. Like if the answer was all of the above and you selected one of them, I gave you 1 point back for that. Then filling in the different blanks here. Again, a little bit of confusion about coronary artery disease and where that falls in, but otherwise feeling good about angina pectoris and so on, and ischemia. Then looking at the differences, again, most people did great on this about the striking out differences between males and females and why females don't often seek medical attention because they don't have as severe symptoms. Looking at cancer then, the different proteins, this was based on the activity we did on Flipgrid. Looks like you were all feeling good there. This was a question that threw off a few people. The non-communicable disease percent mortality. Oh, sorry, no, this isn't the one. This was where you picked a country based on the data we collected. That was good. It was this one where I wanted you to look at the different ages. And I think that caused a little bit of confusion. But what I was trying to get at with this was that the population, the number of deaths in the early age graph, 5 to 14, those numbers were much smaller. If you look at the bar, at the number on the edge of the bars, than at the older ones. And what that's indicating chiefly is that people are living longer and therefore are dying of more like cardiovascular disease and stuff like that, rather than infectious diseases that they were vulnerable as children. We've gotten rid of a lot of those. Top 10 cases in the US. Again, you all watched that little video and had some good insights there from Ron Swanson. And it was very interesting to read the last few questions. Your opinions on the last question about medical insurance, and this is something we'll kind of come back to because this is disease and public health, so there's a healthcare aspect to this. But a lot of you kind of took the two perspectives that you can look at it from a company standpoint. It makes sense, right? Insurance companies are for profit; they need to make money. But from a moral standpoint, a lot of you were like, "Well, it'd be great if everyone could have life insurance." Not everyone applies for life insurance, but if you did apply for it, then maybe you should get it. Anyway, but kind of interesting thing to think about. Well, a lot of you touched on pre-existing condition stuff, which is what we'll get at in this unit about infectious disease. Any other questions or comments on the test? I also went through the feedback that you guys provided on the Google form, which I really appreciate. The take-home points are on the task to complete, but in summary, it seemed like need a little bit more consistency with the homework and the pacing. Sometimes there's a lot and it's fast. Sometimes there's not very much homework and it's slow. Clarifying what's homework and what's classwork, which I'll do my best to do. I always try to post, homework due, announcements, that kind of thing, and I'll keep trying that. Kahoots and other game quizzes, which we tried, and the option to work away from the computer, which I will explore. So I'll continue to see feedback, and I always appreciate that. All right, let's get into our main task for today. This is step number 5 on the tasks to complete list. You're going to be doing a jigsaw, which means that you're going to become an expert along with a couple classmates in a particular bacterial infection. I'm going to put you into 3 breakout rooms. Breakout room 1 is going to be tuberculosis. Breakout room 2 is cholera, and breakout room 3 is tetanus. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to click on that first link, part 1, become an infectious bacterial expert. It'll take you to the assignment. The first part of the assignment, follow the instructions, but in short, you're going to be making a slideshow with just 4 slides where you're answering these main points. Organism and mechanism, so what's the name of the bacteria and what's the toxin that it produces? Organism and toxin, mechanism and result, which is just kind of the very basics about what's going on, why does it make us sick, and what are the most common symptoms. Sources and avoidance, so how does it get into humans, how can we avoid it or treat it? It's always going to be antibiotic treatment, but try to look up specific antibiotics if they mention them. And then the global impact, right? What parts of the world are impacted? How deadly is this bacteria? So I did anthrax as an example, right? So there's the name, it's gram-positive. There's 2 toxins that it produces. It is it has a capsule to avoid immune cells. It releases 3 types of toxins, and it depends on where you get it, right? It could be sores on your skin. If it gets into your lungs, that's bad news with flu-like symptoms, digestion system. It leads to vomiting, diarrhea, and fever. It's a zoonotic disease. We get it from animals. So vets, farmers, butchers are prone to it. But military personnel are also vulnerable because it can be used as a weapon. And that's because it is an endospore. It stores really, really easily in dry conditions for a long time. So that's why you get these like powder letters sometimes that are sent, and that's anthrax. It's a very, very harmful bacteria that's in dormant form, but the minute it touches water on your skin or gets into your respiratory system, it can be fatal or at least make you really sick. Exposures aren't common, but they can be really deadly. And again, it's agricultural communities that are most vulnerable. So same 4 slides exist for tuberculosis, same 4 slides for cholera, and same 4 slides for tetanus. So you're going to be assigned to one of those 3, and I would like you to just fill in that information on the slides. Then you're going to be creating a table of your own in a Google Doc that looks like this, and I've got instructions on how to make a copy. Again, I filled in anthrax as an example, but once you've made your slides, you'll just copy and paste the text that you wrote on each slide. It associates with each column into there for your own notes, and then I'll be mixing you guys up, and you'll be using the slides to sort of teach each other through and fill in the rest of the table. And we'll hopefully get through most of this by the end of today. But if not, then you can use the slides as homework. So slides will be the important thing to get done, and then we'll do the table afterwards. Questions on how this is going to work? Instructions are on the assignment, so it'll hopefully be clear. All right, I'm just going to rename the breakout rooms really quickly to make it clear who's doing what. We have tuberculosis, cholera, and tetanus, also called lockjaw. So I know this all sounds like fun diseases to research, but okay, breakout rooms are open. Let's time for 20 minutes and see how far we get with the slides and the tables. Feeling good about cholera and tuberculosis and whatever else? Everyone's a little expert now. All right, we are all back. So you are now all technically experts. You have access to those slides. I'm gonna try to make it so that you're all, let's see, I'm able to, oh, sorry. So I'm gonna give you each the co-host ability so that you can share your screens, or, well, actually, no, you all have access to the slides, so I don't need to waste time doing that. So all I need to do is make new breakout rooms. So what I'm going to do is create breakout rooms where there should be at least one person from each of the previous rooms. And we're going to end up with 4 rooms again. So there should be an expert or specialist for each of the diseases. And now your goal is to just help each other through the filling in the table. And we'll get as far as we can get in the time we have left. And you should hopefully be able to do the rest based on the slides. Okay, just give me 1 minute here to get the groups made. And it doesn't matter to me what order you go in. Maybe it's just whoever feels ready to present first and just kind of walk them through. And in the table, you're just taking simple notes. That's the key thing. You can see in my example, just key bullet points, that kind of thing, to answer each of the questions. Okay, rooms are open. We'll come back together in about 12 minutes, let's say. See how far we get. All right. Nice uplifting conversation, I hope. Always a good time hearing about bacterial infections of various kinds. How many were you able to get through? Were you able to get through at least one? Like, do most of you have at least one row done in your table? Yeah. How about two? Then we get all three done? Nice. Okay, good. All right. I was a little worried on the timing there, but all right. If you didn't finish, it's okay. Don't panic. Again, that assignment is technically not due until the next time we meet. So anything that you weren't able to finish, especially, I would like you to copy over your own presentation too. So make sure you can just copy the text or just summarize the text that you put in for your own disease as well. But please finish that table and then submit it. And might be something helpful to reference later. We'll kind of briefly review those two. The homework is just going to be two ed puzzles. So in addition to making sure you finish the table and submit it, I have two ed puzzles I'd like you to work through. One is about 4 minutes long. The other one is about 6 minutes long. They only have about one question for every 1 minute or 2 minutes. Both of them are exploring antibiotics and specifically what is called antibiotic resistance and the crisis that healthcare professionals are now facing. But we'll talk more about that the next time we meet. Any questions or comments about the homework or the activity? All right, that's it for me, kids. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.